Welcome back to another video. Today, yes, everything looks different again. It's a square room. It's pretty hard for mixing in a square room, so I'm 2 to 3 times a week I'm looking for different positions and placing my panels differently. But nevertheless, is that the best thing to say right now? I don't know. I'm German. We are talking about 7 tips for bands starting out. If this is your first time here, my name is Sascha. I'm a music producer and artist advisor from the city of Cologne in Germany. I am looking at my notes. I make videos about all things running a band, navigating the music industry, music production, and all types of other music related stuff. If you want to learn more about all of these things, please make sure to hit the subscribe button and the notification bell. We are going into it now. Number 1, do not obsess over gear. If you want to start a band, you probably have some kind of combo amp and a guitar, or if you're a drummer, you probably have a drum set. Why would you want to start a band without that? Get the basics, get something that works. Do not spend a ton of money from the get-go, because running a band is very expensive, and the longer you do it, it's going to be more expensive. I'm going to talk about that one at a later point again. Don't obsess over gear. Of course, if you're a gear slut, you can drool with your saliva over gear sites, but for starting a band, you don't need much stuff. Have an amp, have a guitar, have a drum kit. If you're a singer, I don't know, buy a PA. Of course not. But yeah, don't obsess over gear. You can obsess over gear at a very, very late point. I don't obsess over gear. Not sometimes, but it's like I'm obsessing over very, very, very specific things that are going to save me time or going to really improve what I have or improve my workflow. Use the stuff you have. Number 2, if you want to start a band and you are like actually starting a band, and I'm not talking about a solo project where you're writing stuff and you are releasing it on the internet by yourself. If you want to start an actual band, you have to get other band members at some point, and definitely look for skill so they can play what you're writing, or you can collaborate with them in writing, which rarely happens, and I'm really happy if people can write music together. But also look out for if you can hang out with them. Do they share the same vision as you? Do you like them as a person? Because in the long run, this is way more important than skill. You can have the best drummer in the world, but if he's an asshole, why would you want to be in a band with him, right? You're not a band like Metallica where you don't have to see all day if you don't want to, because you're in a different country and you fly with a different airplane to the show and you take a different limousine to the stage, or I don't know how that's working for them, probably something like that. Definitely look for human skills in other people. Do you like hang out with them? Do you like going to another show with them? Do you like watching stupid videos with them? I don't know. But friendship is more important than skill. But of course they have to be able to play the stuff. Yeah, I could talk about this point for hours as well as the first point, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to save you. Number 3, perfect is the enemy of everything. Do not strive for a perfect song, a perfect release, a perfect anything. Get out there and play. I see a lot of people rehearsing for a year before they are playing a local show, and then they're super obsessed with this one show in a year, and it's like, it doesn't make any sense. It's going to cripple you, it's going to cripple the whole band, it's going to cripple your standing as a band. Just get out there and fucking play. If you only have 3 songs, tell the people booking the show you have 3 songs, you're going to play as the first band. get in the experience, because playing live, performing is a very, very, very different thing from standing in a rehearsal room or standing in a studio or recording your stuff at home. Playing live is a whole different skill, because once you're up there, you really have to think about what you're doing. Are you standing there awkwardly? Are you standing there? I don't know. And it takes hundreds of shows until you get into a performer mode, without the help of substances, for example. So don't overdo it with rehearsing before the first show. It's probably going to suck anyways. I think 1 out of 2 first shows suck. I don't know. You're getting used to whatever it is, like you're getting used to the environment, and it takes a lot of shows to get used to playing shows. And start playing as early as possible. If you only have 3 songs, play a cover song. I don't know. It's not that big of a deal. Just get used to perform. Number 4, and this ties in with the first one, just as another point, just in another field of being in a band. Release music as early as possible. Don't write the perfect song. It's not going to happen. The Beatles wrote hundreds and hundreds of songs before any of the songs that you know from the Beatles were released. Everyone sucks at the beginning. The more songs you put out, because just writing it is not going to, I mean, it gets you experience, but not putting it out there doesn't give you the experience of releasing stuff, of how are people reacting to my stuff, of how are you reacting to how people are reacting. And really release music as early as possible. Don't obsess over it. Write an EP, write a song. I don't know what genre you're in. If you're in a more popular music kind of genre or indie, you are probably going to want to release one song and push the hell out of it, and then another song, and then another song, and then another song. If you're in a metal band, you're pretty much fucked, because you always want to release a whole album and obsess over every detail in 45 minutes of music, and then you release it and no one cares. Just release music as early as possible. Number 5, learn the recording basics. So learn the basics of a digital audio workstation, get a cheap interface, and just something to get your music together. Learn the basics of how do I put drum tracks together, pre-programmed drum beats. How do I record guitars over it? How do I record bass over that? And how do I maybe get, if I'm just a guitarist, how do I fake a bass with my guitar? So what's the easiest and fastest way to make the guitar sound like a bass, so you can imagine, so you can get a picture of a song that you're writing, the idea that you're having in your head, to paper, to digital paper, as in a digital audio workstation, as fast as possible, so you know what it sounds like, so you know where you're getting it. Because when you're writing in something like Guitar Pro, or you are remembering all the stuff and playing it over and over again, as soon as it hits production, stuff just suddenly sounds different, because it's actually played, and you don't know if everything translates as well as you thought it would be. So making your music audible as early as possible is a very good thing. So you should learn the recording basics, not in a professional way, but just to know how to get your ideas out there. If you have any questions for that, I've been learning the basics for years until I went studying all of this stuff. So definitely ask me in the comments about that. Maybe I can make some videos about it. And that's that, learn recording basics. Number 6, track expenses from day one. As I said earlier, running a band is a very, very, very expensive thing. So you should be on track with your expenses from the very first day. How much does your rehearsal space cost? How much strings do you buy? How many cables do you need? And just track it for, and even if your band breaks up after 1 year, you still had you were still getting used to tracking expenses and just having a balance of how much is it to run a band, because if you run one band, and even if it's just 10 years later, you're probably ending up in a band again and again and again, or you're starting a band again, or you're doing whatever you're doing. If you're ending up in doing merchandise for a band in 5 years, I don't know, you have to, no matter what you're doing in the music business, track expenses from day one, track income from day one, track everything. And even if you're just paying for the first 2 years, you're going to know how much you spent, and it's going to give you a bigger picture of the business side of your band, because eventually you will have a business side of your band. And if you're just writing down the rehearsal space costs for every month and the pack of strings you're buying every 2 weeks, get it into an Excel, get it into a spreadsheet, so you are getting it done, so you know what's happening. And I can't stress this enough. Really track your expenses, because you will end up in a business at some point. Number 7, this is the last one. Tell your story from day one. This should be a whole other video, but a lot of bands just post to ask people to do something. So subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow our Instagram, do this, do that, buy our merch, do this, and it's just in your face all the time. It's in your face of the follower all the time. It's in the face of the subscriber all the time. Of course, I'm asking you to, I want to grow on YouTube, I want to grow on my blog, I want to grow on my Facebook, and I want to grow on my Instagram. So I ask people, but I provide value as well. I provide story. And even if it sounds like I'm making a bigger thing out of it than it is, I want to have it a big thing at some point, as you may or may not understand. And it's the same thing with your band. Tell them what you're doing. Tell them how you are packing all the EPs together. Make a video. If you're camera shy, you better start now to not be camera shy anymore, because that's the thing that matters. People actually want to know how you went into a music store, how you were looking for the guitar, how you picked the guitar, why you picked the guitar. People are interested in the most trivial shit you can imagine, and that's just a fact. Give them more context about what you're doing, who you are, I don't know, how you're driving to the show, and that is far way beyond the picture of just holding beer bottles together, which is not the picture you should post out there. Really think about storytelling. Think about what could be interesting, and sometimes what you think is not interesting is actually interesting to your audience. And even if you only have 3 people liking your Facebook page in the first 6 months, talk to them. It's 3 people, and they care, and you can make them care a lot more if you put yourself out there, if you have the guts to tell what's going on, if you have the guts to tell them what you're doing right now. So, hey, I mean, sometimes I don't know what to do, and I'm not showing a lot of my life on here, but as a band, there's just so much to tell, and there are amazing tools for that. Instagram stories, Instagram just like Instagram posts, Facebook Live, Facebook feed. You can absolutely go nuts with telling your story, and you don't have to be as intimate or as weird as you think you have to be. So really think about telling your story from day one and document it, and people are going to care. So that have been 7 steps on. In addition to the last point, if you are new here, you probably don't know yet, the first link in the description will lead you to a little ebook I have put together, which are 11 tools to amplify your band's social media. So you have to sign up for my email list, and I'll send it to your inbox. You can unsubscribe it at any point if you want, but yeah, just a little free gadget or free guide for you. So if you have more tips for bands starting out, or what do you think about the things I just said, leave a comment down below. Like, share, subscribe, take care, whatever. Have a great Sunday, and I'll see you in another one.